Well, the people of Puerto Rico are taking lessons learned from Hurricane Maria to power their homes with rooftop solar systems. The Solar Plus battery system came about in aftermath of the deadly Category 5 hurricane that raked the entire island with destructive winds back in 2017.
You may remember it. It left people of Puerto Rico without electricity for nearly a year. We got Maria Galluci, a clean energy reporter at Canary Media, joining us now to share more about, the Caribbean islands, rooftop solar boom, which is obviously a great thing to talk about here. Can you tell us, Maria, how the grassroots solar movement started sweeping the island and how it's been?
Sure. Thank you for having me. A recent study came out that found 42,000 rooftop solar installations have been installed in Puerto Rico as of January 2022, and that's an 8-fold increase from the number before Hurricane Maria. So really, you're seeing a dramatic increase in people, businesses, nonprofit organizations who are deciding to kind of go it alone or kind of have this resiliency with backup solar power.
How much do you think this will help with the grid issues that we've had in Puerto Rico over the years?
Well, it's interesting. The way that it's happening right now, sort of this individual grassroots effort, it's more helping individuals or communities, but not necessarily the grid at large. So the centralized electricity system still has a lot of problems with its power plants, with its transmission and distribution lines. And so the idea, though, what experts would like to see is kind of harnessing this rooftop solar power in ways that can benefit the grid and kind of collaborate with the central electricity system. But right now, it's kind of happening just in pockets.
Got it. Which makes sense. For people who don't know, I mean, you have the option, well, in some states you have the option to either connect to the grid, and then you would provide energy to the grid, which then would help others and get a discount on your bill, or you could put it into a battery-powered structure. So it seems like the residents there are harnessing it themselves so that if the power goes out, they at least still have power individually. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So many of these systems are connected to the grid. They are supplying electricity to the grid. But when it goes down and blackouts, outages are still pretty common in Puerto Rico. When that happens, yes, that's absolutely right. People are kind of banking it in their own batteries.
What if there is another hurricane? How resistant are these solar panels, and how well are they connected that they're going to stay intact and that they could still provide energy after a storm?
So in general, rooftop solar systems, especially when they're installed correctly, can be resistant or can stay in place after a hurricane, maybe in a way that sort of large-scale installations can't or are more vulnerable. So after a storm, I think it seems likely that many of these systems would still be operating. The challenge, though, is, of course, there's over 3.2 million people in Puerto Rico, and not all of them would have access to these systems after a massive blackout.
Yeah.
So what do we do moving forward to get more people into the solar program? Is there any kind of incentives from Puerto Rico standpoint to offer their citizens more availability to get solar?
So right now, there really aren't the kind of incentives or policies that many states here in the mainland U.S. have. But what many energy experts would like to see is, so the Biden administration recently announced they'll be making available $12 billion in federal recovery funds for Puerto Rico, specifically for restoring the energy system. And so many solar advocates and other energy experts would like to see most of that $12 billion going toward helping more people install rooftop solar systems or communities installing systems as well.
All right, Maria Galluci, thank you so much for joining us. You can read Maria's article at canarymedia.com. And we were just talking about before this also, you have this huge influx of people now trying to move into Puerto Rico because of the tax benefits.
Right,
so
and just because everyone's working from home.
Yeah, and everyone's working from home. I can live wherever, and that whole thing too.
All right, so